going. What is up, everybody? I am Kevin Iole. Welcome to KevinIole.com. It sounds good to say that, I will have to say. Joining me right now is former world boxing champion Austin Trout. And I have to kind of make a differentiation there because on Friday in Hollywood, Florida, Austin Trout is going after another world championship, this time in bare knuckle fighting. Austin, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, Kevin. And you know what? Congratulations on the KevinIole.com.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Nice to be the boss, man. But I know I'm happy to be here. I'm looking forward to this fight. I mean, it's going to be exciting, and the event itself, from what I see, is already exciting. So, you know, I won't disappoint.
So let's talk about what got you in. You're 1-0 in your BKFC career. Last February, you fought a very popular former UFC fighter, Diego Sanchez. You won that by fourth round TKO. Why did you decide to give bare knuckle boxing a try?
Well, I mean, before I even got the offer, I was watching, I think it was a Juggernaut fight. And I was telling the homies, like, man, I would do that. If, you know, right fight, they paying, I don't know what they're paying, but if they paying good and they offer the right opportunity, I would do it. You know, I'm from New Mexico. We do a lot of fighting without gloves back in the day, you know,
right.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
But, and, you know, and then lo and behold, you know, probably like 2 years later, Nelson's like, hey, man, would you do the bare knuckle? I'm like, that's crazy. I was talking about that, not just, but you know, I was talking about that with my people. It's like, what you talking about? What we thinking? Right. And you know, he gave me. That's when they offered the Diego fight, which apparently Diego was asking for. You know, he was like, I want to fight Trout in bare knuckle.
Well, that was good that you guys fought in Albuquerque. Both of you live in New Mexico, so that kind of gave a little storyline there.
Yeah, and you know, he's from Albuquerque. He's from that. That's his hometown. I am from New Mexico, but I'm from Las Cruces, South. Right. So, you know, it was still in his backyard. I whooped him just like I'm going to have to go in Palomino's backyard and whoop him.
Oh, you are a Lobo territory guy. But, you know, what did you find? Like, how is fighting with no gloves on? How is that different? Like, and do you have to take a different approach to a fight than you would if you were going to box somebody?
Well, so the first fight, hindsight's 50-50. And after the first fight, I was like, yeah, I should probably not sit on every punch, you know, that I throw. And, you know, my hands were a little sore. I didn't break anything, but, you know, and I was sparring probably 2 weeks afterwards, but they were sore. And I was like, damn, I need to condition these things more. So I worked on conditioning my hands more, but also on letting my hands go, kind of more of an arm punch, which we don't teach in boxing. You know, right. It's all the punches start at the feet. So working on kind of doing some arm punching, still sitting on the shots that I need to sit on, but being able to cut them up with just the arm shots, saving my hands for those big shots that I open up.
I'm assuming in a boxing match that you've had fights where you hurt your hand and you have to, you know, kind of figure out how to get through, you know, 12 rounds in a fight. And this, if you injure your hand, do you have an idea like sort of what you have to do? I mean, you just have to suck up the pain, or like what happens if you actually, you know, get those hand injuries as you're fighting?
Well, I pray to God I never find out. I would assume if you can fight one-handed for 12 rounds, you can fight one-handed for 5, especially 2-minute rounds. So, you know, maybe switching your stance, putting the hurt hand in the back, working the good hand in the front, holding and hitting, holding with the bad hand, hitting with the good hand, which is BKFC allows. You know, I think there's a lot of allowances in the bare knuckle game that we can get away with it.
What is it you like about BKFC's style of fighting compared to regular boxing? Is there anything you think, hey, if boxing could take this from BKFC and bring it into regular boxing, it would be better? Is there anything that you would say?
Yeah, you know, the allowing the clinch hitting, you know, I think as soon as some guys get in and that is their game plan, depending on whose side the ref is on, you know, break, stop it. You know, and it's like you take away somebody's whole game plan because you don't allow them to do any inside fighting. Not saying that I mean, and really holding and hitting is all dependent on the ref, you know, which ref is going to allow what. Them saying like, no, that's allowed, do it. If you don't do anything, then we'll break it up. Okay, that, I like that rule that they have. I was just saying, not that I think boxers should go to 2 minute rounds, but
Right.
I think that 2 minute rounds in 5 rounds max does something for the action.
So you're so the one can, when you talk about women's boxing, they don't have a lot of knockouts, and a lot of the women say the reason we don't get a lot of knockouts is we get somebody hurt and we don't have that last minute to finish them off. It seems like in the BKFC, people finish fights, right? Is why do you think it's different? Is it do you buy the argument that the women are making, or is there just something different about the when you take the gloves off and you fight?
I think it's something about one, when you take the gloves off, you don't necessarily have to hit them hard. You just got to hit them right. They're going to go down. With the gloves on, if you hit them right, most you're going to get them is buzzed. You got to hit them hard and hit them right. So I'm not necessarily buying that if they had an extra minute, there'd be more knockouts. Um, if you get hit hard, you hit hard.
Right.
What's her name? Ann Wolf. She had plenty
Yeah.
of knockouts with the two
Hall
minute
of
round
Famer.
time.
Yeah. She.
Yeah, the 2 minute time frame. Although, on another note, say for the female championship fights, right? We have 12 3 minute rounds. Now, there might be more late stoppages in
Right.
female fighting if you do put it to 3 minutes. So she does have a point.
Sure.
They do have a point with that. But as far as knockouts, no, it's not. I don't think the extra minute's going to make a difference. Late stoppages, yeah, you probably have more chance for a late stoppage.
You referenced a little bit ago about trying to fight on the inside when you don't have the gloves to protect your hands.
Mhm.
And just how does that hurt, feel both from a delivery standpoint when you're landing a body shot? You kind of hit somebody on their rib cage down there. Do you feel that because that big bone, sitting there? And B, like when you get hit with that, right? I wonder, like when you're getting hit with no protection on a body shot, is that more deflating than in boxing?
So, you do feel all those ribs going in, not necessarily hurting the hand, but it is satisfying. 'Cause like, oh,
Yeah.
that hurt. I felt every rib on that one. And thank God I have not received a good body shot bare knuckle, and I don't plan on it either. So I can't tell you, nor do I plan on being able to tell you.
So on Friday, you're fighting Luis Palomino, the world champion. He is 9-0. You are 1-0. So obviously, he's a former MMA fighter coming into bare knuckle boxing. A lot more experience than you do. How do you overcome that? The fact he's been in there, he kind of understands this form of fighting, this style of fighting. How do you overcome that experience difference in this specific event?
So my best bet to combat his experience is to learn from my last fight. Learn as much as I can from the last fight. Learn as much as I can about him in these fights, his tendencies, break him down as an opponent, and then gather all the experience I've had in my fighting. But I don't mean just boxing. And I don't mean just pro. I mean amateurs. I mean street fights. Go back and harness all that experience I've had. I've had over maybe 500 fights in my life.
So most of them
Um,
had to be street fights, then, dude. Right?
most of them were, I had a lot of amateur fights. Um, and so we gotta we gotta harness all that and implement our game plan. We
Sure.
cannot let him do what he wants to do.
How do you think he's going to try to attack you? What is his approach going to be, do you think?
His, his best bet's to make it ugly. I have the longer reach. I believe I have a faster jab. So him standing outside, to me, doesn't seem like a good idea. Although he does, he's outside. He'll bounce around. He'll jump in and try to fly flurry. So, in my opinion, him being on the inside and making a real firefight is his best bet.
Sure. Let's wrap with this, Austin. I do want to get your take on more boxers coming to bare knuckle fighting. And do you think you're going to see some boxers more in their prime of your career? You're 38 years old. You've had your career. You've been in a lot of world title fights, Canelo Alvarez, so many great fighters that you have been in with. Do you feel like you're going to start to see some boxers come over? I know that's something that Dave Feldman, the BKFC owner, wants to do. Do you see that occurring? Boxers, more in their primes, trying this genre out?
So the way I see it, David Feldman positioned himself into a great space. Boxing is looking for homes, you know. PBC just shut down. Showtime shut down. I'm sorry, not PBC. Showtime just shut down. All that's left right now is ESPN in the zone until
And
Prime
Amazon's
Video.
going to have PBC
Yeah,
fights.
Amazon's gonna have PBC coming up, but you know, it seems like boxing is scrounging for a home. You know, and the zone. That means I'm sorry. That means a lot of boxers don't have anywhere to be seen.
Right.
There's gonna be a lot of boxers because from what I understand, this Prime, yeah, deal, they don't have too many dates. It's not like there's a lot of dates coming from Prime, so that's a lot of fighters that need fights. A lot of
Right.
fighters in their prime that need fights, and it seems to me like if the only home that they can go to that's outside of boxing, because you know about how the politics makes it so hard to get anything done, is BKFC and Team Combat League. And so we're going to see a lot of fighters coming to these outlets, and that's it's going to change the game, I think.
Is the Team Combat League you're referring to the thing that Dewey Cooper is
Yes.
put together? Yeah. So
Right.
you have competed in that as well, right?
Yeah, I'm all over the place.
Yeah, you're doing it all. Last thing, you referenced at the beginning. You said, "Hey, when I saw this, if they were paying the right kind of money, I would come over." Obviously, they paid you what looked good. Do you think they're paying enough? I mean, is money going to be a thing that will bring people over, or do you think the money is there for some guys that are in, and not a Canelo Alvarez or a Terrence Crawford or those kind of people, but those mid-level guys that are making a $500,000 to $1 million a fight? Do you think that there's going to be the kind of paycheck that they'll make them jump over?
I do, I do. I mean, you saw with my man Mike Perry, he made more in his last fight than he did his whole UFC career. So they're not paying over the top ridiculous amounts, but they're paying a fair wage. And you can't be mad at that. They're not undercutting anybody. They're in a sense offering more than fair wages as far as I'm concerned. And I'm gonna get that Mike Perry status too myself. God willing.
Well, Mike Perry down the road for you? Is that something that we might see for you?
That's what everybody's already talking about. So sounds like it. Let me get this belt first.
Platinum Mike, that'll be something if you can pull that off. Well, good luck to you Friday night, Austin. Appreciate your brother fighting. If you didn't hear before, Luis Palomino at BKFC Hollywood in Hollywood, Florida on Friday night. Appreciate your brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kevin. Have a good one, man.
You too.